Hello, everybody. Second video of the day today on this Beetle Dave's YouTube channel. Now, if you're watching my video earlier on, I said we're going to do something a little bit different for this one. There's a little bit of a Beatles connection to it, but it's not a Beatles record that we're looking at. It's the first LP album by one of the bands or groups that went on to be one of the biggest rock bands of the 70s. We're going to be looking at Pink Floyd. The Piper at the Gates of Dawn. Now, for those of you that know, obviously Pink Floyd went on to release massive hits like Dark Side of the Moon, Wish You Were Here, and things like that. But that actually started off as more of a psychedelic band. And their main songwriter and lead singer was a man called Syd Barrett, which we'll go into a little bit more about him in a few minutes. But first of all, this is what they call fifth pressing. It's not a first pressing. I wish it was. It'd be worth a hell of a lot of money if it was a first pressing. So this is actually, this record here, that's in my hands now, is like the early to mid 70s pressing. It's on Columbia, which was part of the EMI record group, and this is stereo. So at the time, the members of Pink Floyd were Syd Barrett, lead guitar and vocals, Roger Waters, bass guitar and vocals, Rick Wright, organ stroke piano, and then Nick Mason was drums. Now this LP was recorded in Abbey Road Studios in London. So there is a little bit of a connection with the Beatles. I think it was recorded around the time of Sgt. Pepper, but I'm not 100% sure. So either around that time or just after that time. And it was produced by Norman Smith. Now, Norman Smith actually used to engineer a lot of the Beatles' early albums up to about Rubber Soul, I think it was. So there is another connection to the Beatles. Like I say, we're not concentrating on the Beatles, we're concentrating on this album today. So that is the track listing. So it is actually on the black and silver 2-box EMI logo Columbia label, which we'll show you. Just a normal sleeve on this one. Very nice. So on side one, the matrix number is in the dead wax. Is I've got to look at this because I've had to write it down because sometimes they're very, very hard to see. Is YAX 3419, sorry, stroke 2. And at the 9 o'clock position is a 3. And at the 3 o'clock position, it's TL. Side 2 is YAX 3420 stroke 2. And at the 9 o'clock position is 4. And at the 3 o'clock position is CAL. So 9 o'clock position is there. And 3 o'clock position is there. That's all that means. It's just numbers and stuff that is into the dead wax, which indicates which record plant and also which machine or pressing machine actually this comes from. You can actually find out everything. Don't make it easy, but you can. So yeah, this was the beginning of it all for Pink Floyd. At the time this came out, they'd actually had a couple of hits with See Emily Play and Arnold Lane. Again, you know, in the 60s, it wasn't very often that albums had singles. An album was an album and a single was a single. But Pink Floyd did actually become more of an album artist, didn't they? So on side one, I might cock this up trying to say some of these. So is Astronome Didn't Mine, Lucifer Sam, Mildred Mother, Flaming, Pow R Tech H, Take Up Thy Stethoscope and Walk, side two, Interstellar Overdonna. I think it was a BBC News report from 1967 about I think the club was called the UFO Club. The Gnome, not the laughing gnome, the Gnome. Chapter 24, The Scarecrow and Bite. I've got a bite, you can get it if you like. So, all in all, very, very strong album. There is 6, 7, 8. There's 11 songs on this. Out of those 11, Syd Barrett wrote 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He actually wrote 8 on his own. Then he co-wrote 2. So, like I say, he was actually the main songwriter and the main singer. Now, the sad thing about Syd Barrett is, not long after this album was released, he sort of like had a breakdown. I think that's the best word to describe it. And he started turning up, well, going to gigs and just standing like that all through the gig. He might strum his guitar a couple of times, wouldn't sing. So eventually the band just basically stopped going to pick him up. And technically, he was fired from his own band. Lots of stories have gone around about Syd Barrett, about he tried LSD and he liked it, but he took one trip too many and then he somehow couldn't come back. Others is he had a breakdown because he was trying to write the next hit. Personally, I think it could be a combination of those two. He did try and do a solo career. He did release a couple of albums, but they didn't really get anywhere. And actual certain members of Pink Floyd did like play on them and things like that. So they didn't fall out as such. And I know, like when Pink Floyd did start to make, you know, good money, they made sure that Syd Barrett always got his royalties for the songs that he'd written. And the famous story is that when there was it the Dark Side? I can't remember if it's Dark Side of the Moon or Wish You Were Here. I think it was Wish You Were Here, which was the last time that they actually saw Syd Barrett. He walked into the studio where they was recording the album, and apparently he'd put a lot of weight on, and he'd shaved all his hair off. And at first they didn't realise who he was. And then somebody just said to him, "Well, you know, you're looking well. Are you eating okay? You know, you seem to have put a bit of weight on." And it apparently just turned around and goes, "Well, that's because I've got a very big fridge." You know, little stories like that. But yeah, so yeah, Pink Floyd. I put At the Gates of Dawn. Like I say, this is what they call a fifth pressing. So it's roughly from like the early to mid 70s, I'd say, around about 75. The original would have had a flip back sleeve there and there. And on the inside, on the label, now I get like the yellow and black parlophone, don't you? Well, that would have been a blue and black Columbia, and this Columbia would have been bigger, would have been in blue. Same mixes and everything. Lovely sounding album. And as you can see, very, very little play, to be honest, on this. It's almost, I wouldn't say almost mint, but I would say it's in excellent condition. Yeah, Syd Barrett, there's been a few books wrote about him. you know, he's a bit of a lost soul in the end. Whether the music industry, you know, was to blame, or he himself was to blame, or it was a mixture of both, I don't know. Like I say, you know, Pink Floyd did try. The members of Pink Floyd did always try to make sure that he did receive, you know, the credit for the songs that he had wrote. He did actually appear on the next album by, excuse me, Pink Floyd, but he only actually wrote one track for that album. But he played on a couple of tracks, but he only actually wrote one track for it. So, you know, that is, like, in one way, that is Syd Barrett's masterpiece. Like I say, if you've got the original one of this, it is worth getting them for £200. I've just looked on eBay and Discogs at this one, the fifth pressing, and this is going from anywhere from £59 to 138 at the minute, and they don't seem to be in quite as good condition as this. So, yeah. So, like I said, there is a little bit of Beatles connection. Oh yeah, and the back cover. This back cover, that was actually designed by Syd Barrett as well. Yeah. If you ever get a chance to listen to this, it is, how can I put it? It's a lovely album to listen to, but it's not the Pink Floyd that you know. If that does that make sense? It's not like Money and Another Brick in the Wall and things like that. Obviously, you know, the members of Pink Floyd never really forgot, so did they? Like I say, you know, you've got Shine On You Crazy Diamond, don't you? That was about Syd. Wish You Were Here was about Syd. It's a shame, but unfortunately, it's not the only sad story in rock history, is it? As an album, yeah, I would highly recommend it if you ever see it. I think you can get a sort of reissue of this. I think it's got a slightly different sleeve on it, and I think they are on eBay at the minute for around the £25 mark. But like I said, half these songs, an ordinary, unless you was a die-hard Pink Floyd fan, you probably wouldn't know them. The most popular one on there, I would say, is probably Interstellar Overdrive and Bike. And if you Bike is basically a comedy song. I've got a bike, you can ride it if you like. And then something about I've got a mouse, his name is Gerald. My missus loves that song, to be honest. So yeah, highly recommend it. Can't really say much more about it because obviously this was basically the only album that Syd Barrett had full control of in one way. Like I say, it did play on the follow-up, Source of Full of Secrets, I think it was. But like I say, he only actually wrote one song for that. What do you think on there? He wrote the majority of them, didn't he? Yeah. Good album. Very good album. Production and everything's fantastic on it. Norman Smith actually went on to have a bit of a recording career himself as was it Whistling Jack Smith? I can't remember the song. He did a really famous like song anyway. Something like that was Whistling Jack Smith. Yeah. So if you ever find it on your travels in a record fair or anything, buy it. That's all I'll say is if you can afford it, buy it. But it's not the Pink Floyd that most people know. It is more a sort of forgotten psychedelic gem from the 1960s. Recorded in 1967, as I said. Abbey Road, Norman Smith. Recording engineer, Peter Brown. Is that the Peter Brown that was associated with the Beatles as well? Yeah, so I just thought I'd do something a little bit different for this video. I'm not an expert on Pink Floyd. I mean, I've got that, and I've got a compilation album, which is Syd Barrett's first two albums. The Madcap Laughs and Barrett was his 2 albums that he recorded, and then there's one called Opus, I think, which was like all demos and stuff. And then I've got, what else have I got? I've got a few. I've got Animals, Dark Side of the Moon. What's the one with the cow on the cover? Oh, I can't remember now. So yeah, I've got a few Pink Floyd LPs, but that is like my best one, or the one I like the best. So yeah, something a little bit different from Beatle Dave. Like I say, I don't want to do too many things that aren't the Beatles, because after all, it is Beatle Dave's channel, isn't it? You know, so a lot of the things will still be about the Beatles. But if any of you watching this and you've liked this, what I've done today, I mean, I've only done this dead quick, so I just thought, you know, it'd be nice to share one of my rarer records with you, if that, you know. Yeah, if there is any like records that you would like me to show, if I've got them, I'm more than happy to accompany you and show them to you. This is going to be the last video probably for a few days. I'm actually off tomorrow, I think I'm off tomorrow. I don't know. But tomorrow I have got something else in mind, if I do it, which should be interesting. I hope this has been interesting to you. Like I say, as a record collector, all you try to do is share your records with other people, give your thoughts about the songs, about the album itself, and then whether you think it's worth people buying it or not. Now, I would give that 10 out of 10. I don't usually do more albums. I would definitely give that 10 out of 10. Mainly because Sid Barrett, you know, the musical genius of Sid Barrett that's on it. If you like your Dark Sides of the Moon and things like that, it probably isn't for you. But if you like psychedelic rock, your Sergeant Peppers and your things like that, then this is the album for you. You can see how Pink Floyd developed into Pink Floyd, if that makes sense from this album. But yeah, that's going to be it for today. As always, love your records, cherish your records, clean your records, above all, play them. For those of you that have subscribed to the channel, thank you very much. I do appreciate it. If you watch my videos and you like them, then maybe think about subscribing if you haven't already done so. It doesn't cost you a penny to subscribe to my channel. I just do this for a little bit of fun. As I've said before, you know, I've got thousands of records and I've been collecting records for over 40 years now. So all I'm doing is sharing some of my knowledge with you lot out there. So if you learn something, you learn something. If I make you laugh, I make you laugh as well. You know, that's part and parcel of this channel. I don't take myself that serious. Sometimes you have to, when you're reviewing certain things or doing certain videos, you do have to like get it all right. But I think sometimes how can I put it? Sometimes I make these videos and everything goes bang on. I don't make no mistakes or anything. And other times I can make quite a few mistakes, but I sort of like still know what I'm on about. It's like I don't script any of this. The only thing I do, like for that one, and I did one yesterday, was write down the numbers, the metrics numbers and things like that, because I can't always remember them in my head. I used to be able to, but I'm getting old now. But I don't make a script, so everything I say is my own feelings, everything like that. So yeah, just a bit of fun, and I hope you like it. And that is basically it, isn't it? It's just a little bit of fun, spreading a little bit of my knowledge, and that's it, isn't it? You know, that's part of being a record collector, is passing on knowledge, showing things. I mean, a lot of people probably might not have ever seen that album, you know, but they will have heard of Pink Floyd, you know. So that was the main reason for doing this video today, was just to show you like how Pink Floyd started, or the early days of Pink Floyd. Brilliant album, honestly. I can't say that enough. That is a brilliant album. Even if you're in a second-hand record shop and you see a really battered up copy of it, if the price is right, I would still get it, because you will enjoy it. Honestly, you will enjoy it. Might not be everybody's cup of tea, but for me, because I like the Beatles and I like 60s music, I like psychedelic music, I like rock, I like punk. To me, cracking the album. So, as always, I've done my cherish your records, love your records, play your records, but enter. Quick weather update, then I'm going to go. It's still overcast in Derby in the UK, and it does look like we might get some rain. So, thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I do enjoy making these videos, by the way, but it's, how can I put it? It's becoming, I think they're becoming better and better as I'm doing them. For those of you that have watched some of my videos, you do know I haven't been doing this very long, and me and technology don't really get on. I mean, like I said before, when I first started, I was actually doing the videos off my phone, but 9 times out of 10 I was doing something and somebody sent me a message or ring me halfway through, and I couldn't work out how to edit it. So then I set my laptop up at the time that I had, and it came out okay, but it was a bit grainy. So I bought this laptop. So I think with everyone, they are getting better. As I've said before, I don't want them to look like I'm sat in a TV studio. I want it to be obvious that I'm sat in my music room. Now, to me, this is good. You can see all my records. I've got my lights on and stuff. Little guitar there. My missus made me that little sign there. Beat Dave. She's good to me. Anyway, that's going to be it for now, folks. Hopefully, I will do one tomorrow. But if I don't, I don't, because I'm feeling. I said this other day. I've just like finished a 48-hour week in 4 days, and it's took it out of me a little bit, to be honest. But I think I'm getting a bit old now, as we all are. Yeah, whatever you're doing, stay safe. Be kind to one another, and I will see you in the next video, which will hopefully tomorrow.